Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Unprofessional Professional Opinion. I am your host, Nicholas Salguero, and this is a show where I voice my opinion about sports. Since the football season's starting to come back up again, I want to make my preseason predictions on each team, which teams I think will make the playoffs, and which teams I think will have a very struggling, tough year. This channel isn't just about sports, by the way. This channel is whatever I feel like comes to mind. And right now, I'm a huge sports fan, and football is my favorite sport, so that's why I'm going to do it. Thank you very much for tuning in, and let's get started. I'm going to start off with which teams I think will make the playoffs, going from first seed to sixth seed in the AFC and the NFC. I'm going to start off with the AFC, and I'm going to go from first seed to second seed to third seed to fourth seed. So I'm going to start off with my first seed, which I believe is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. I feel like they have a relatively easier schedule than most teams in the AFC. Also, I feel like they're going to be really proven this year and play tough because they're going to be angry about that disappointing season and disappointing loss in the division round last year to the Jacksonville Jaguars. My second seed, talking about Jacksonville, is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I feel like they have the recipe for success and what has worked in recent years to win the Super Bowl, which is a tough defense and a great run game. And that's just about it. My third seed will be the New England Patriots. I just respect Tom Brady too much. I also think he is in the easiest division of the whole NFL. And I think that's 6 easy wins right there off the bat. I will say they'll struggle early like they always do in the beginning of the season. And they'll lose to Jacksonville, which gives Jacksonville that second seed over New England for that third seed. And it's Tom Brady. I don't think he'll ever be a fourth seed. And for last but not least, for the division winners, the fourth seed is the Los Angeles Chargers. I think they have a great chance this year to do a lot of great things. They have a stout offense and a pretty good defense. I think the Chargers will be back this year. For my first wild card team, the fifth seed, I have my favorite team, the Denver Broncos. Yes, I am being a little biased here. I think Kansas City is a good team this year, but I also feel like Patrick Mahomes is a little unproven, and I'm not so ready to jump on the Patrick Mahomes hype train. I feel like Denver still has a very good defense, and Case Keenum's going to give them the type of quarterback play they need to carry them into the playoffs. Also, that Bradley Chubb, Von Miller mixture should be unstoppable, almost like Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram. For my sixth seed, this is the seed. This is the last team I was kind of flippy-floppy on. I'm not 100% sure they'll make it, but if they all stay healthy enough and don't have any significant injuries, I feel like they make the playoffs. Everybody's high on this team. I wasn't at first, but they slowly grew on me, and that is the Houston Texans. I feel like Houston has a great defense. J.J. Watt, the other end, Jovanian Clowney, Tyrann Mathieu. I'm not so high on their corners. I feel like Jonathan Joseph is old and going to start going down. I don't know who the other corner is on Houston, but they have Tyrann Mathieu, and he should be able to help them out. That pass rush is deadly, and they also have, on offense, you got Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins, and they should be able to do enough to carry the team. Maybe Kyle Fuller can take off some of the load for DeAndre Hopkins and actually be a good second option. I don't know how I feel about Lamar Miller, to be honest. He's not one of the running backs I've really paid attention to. I don't know how he's been doing in recent years since his departure from Miami. I have no clue about their tight end situation, and their offensive line it's okay. It's about middle of the pack. But Deshaun Watson is too much of a beast at quarterback. I think he can be the guy that carries them into the playoffs. They've made the playoffs with worse quarterbacks when their defense has stayed healthy. As for my NFC playoff predictions go, my first seed is the same first seed as last year and currently Super Bowl champions, Philadelphia Eagles. I feel like until proven wrong, the Eagles are going to be the best team in the league this year with Carson Wentz coming back. And don't think Carson Wentz is going to relax just because he has a Super Bowl ring now. I feel like he's actually going to play harder and better than he did last year before he got hurt, because he's going to prove to everybody in the NFL and everybody in Philadelphia that he is the franchise quarterback, and he was a big part of that team winning the Super Bowl. I also feel like they got better on offense and better on defense, adding Bennett, adding honestly, I don't know who they add on offense, but adding Bennett was definitely a big plus to that pass rush. As for my second seed in the NFC, shouldn't be a surprise. I mean, I would put them first seed if Philadelphia wasn't so good, but it's the Minnesota Vikings. Just like Jacksonville in the AFC, Minnesota has a stout defense, probably the second best defense in the NFL other than Jacksonville. They also have a great running game in Dalvin Cook, who will probably not lead the league in rushing, but I'd say will finish top 3 in the league in rushing. Kirk Cousins he won't be able to play that much better than Case Keenum did last year, but he shouldn't make the same mistakes that Case Keenum made last year that held Minnesota back from making the Super Bowl. Kirk Cousins will be a lot more safe with the ball and not turn it over as much. As for my third seed, it's going to be the Los Angeles Rams. I feel like they have a great team this year, but I also feel like they have too many new pieces in that locker room and maybe too many personalities in that locker room. I could see them overtaking Philadelphia and being either the top or second seed in the NFC, but that I feel like is a year away. I feel like I'll take this year to understand each other, and gain some real team chemistry. There's just too many new pieces in the Rams locker room this year. It reminds me back when Denver got to leave DeMarcus Ware. Did we get Daniel Stewart that year? No, I don't think we got Daniel Stewart that year. I think we got Daniel Stewart the year we won the Super Bowl. But we had another significant signing that's not coming on the top of my head right away, but we lost that year to the Indianapolis Colts in the divisional round because we just didn't have that chemistry yet that we had the next year when we won the Super Bowl. And for my fourth seed, I believe this team, even though they are the fourth seed, I think this team's a high chance of going to the Super Bowl because I like their offense a lot. In fact, I feel like their offense and defense, they might not be the top in the league or in the NFC alone, but they're like middle of the pack, which is perfect success that a lot of teams have in the playoffs. And that is the New Orleans Saints. I love Alvin Kamara. He carried me to the Fantasy League Championship in my fantasy league last year, and I love Marshawn Lattimore. I feel he'd be the next top corner in the league other than Jalen Ramsey. I feel like Jalen Ramsey's number 1, Marshawn Lattimore's number 2, and then Xavier Rhodes. Patrick Peterson, even though he's still relatively young, I feel like he's going to start declining soon enough. I mean, corners don't last that long in the league unless there's something really special like Champ Bailey or Dion or Rod Woodson or some other Charles Woodson, some corner like that. So I believe that the Saints are one of the dark horses to reach the Super Bowl. I mean, they were one play away from Minnesota last year to go to Philadelphia and face the Eagles. And I feel like if the Eagles face the Saints in the conference championship, I feel like the Saints would have put up a lot better of a competition, and that game would have been a lot more interesting. In fact, I would have saw the Saints winning that game and going on the Super Bowl to face New England. As for my wild card teams, one team shouldn't really be that surprising because they have their top tier, one of the best quarterbacks in the league coming back from injury. But my other team might be a little surprised for how they played last year. So my fifth seed is the Green Bay Packers. Go Pack Go. Aaron Rodgers, no matter what team he has around him, carries the Packers to the playoffs every single year. He is the top quarterback in the league, other than Tom Brady or Russell Wilson. I like a lot what they did in the offseason, picking up Jimmy Graham, Muhammad Wilkerson. I feel like that defense is a lot better than what it was last year. Also, they have Aaron Rodgers. That's honestly all I need to say. But I would have them winning their division if it wasn't for Minnesota's just better overall team. As for my sixth seed, I feel like they probably would have made the playoffs last year if this player didn't get suspended for 6 games and have to have their quarterback carry all the load with an underwhelming receiving core, to say the least, and a defense that just wasn't ready to be a defense. But I do feel like their defense will bounce back this year, which is the Dallas Cowboys. I am very split on Dallas with Washington. I feel like, or Seattle. I feel like it's really between those 3 teams that makes the last wild card slot. But I like Dallas offense a little more than I like the other teams. They have a 10 times better offensive line. They're getting Ezekiel Elliott back for the whole year and not a suspended year. And I feel like Dak Prescott will bounce back from his sophomore slump last year. They always do. Everybody's underhyping Dak Prescott and saying that he's overrated and his rookie year was just a fluke. Me, personally, I don't think so. I think he'll bounce back and have a great year. Allen Hurns, Cole Beasley, the tight end that they drafted, I don't remember his name on the top of my head personally. Terrence Williams will have it back. They have a decent receiving core now. They don't have Dez Bryant distracting the team, always asking for the ball. And they still got that great offensive line. Their defense is now a year older, at least cornerback-wise. Sean Lee's back. He should be healthy. DeMarcus Lawrence is still there. They picked up that linebacker in the first round. I think Dallas will have a great comeback year. Also, Dallas always has this 1 year they don't make the playoffs. Next year they do make the playoffs type thing going on. So don't be surprised if the Dallas Cowboys make the playoffs.
Thank you very much for watching my video on which teams I think personally will make the playoffs and has a good chance on being great this year. If I had to choose a Super Bowl from the teams that I have making the playoffs, it would be Minnesota against Jacksonville. I just love defense and I love a great run game. And I feel like Minnesota's a really good all-around team with quarterback play, and they do not have bad receivers. My dark horse Super Bowl for this year will be San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers, and the New Orleans Saints, because I feel like those 2 teams are very dangerous and are very good. Do not be surprised if that is our Super Bowl that we see this year. Thank you very much for tuning in. I will have another part of this video coming later this week on which teams I think will become close to getting to the playoffs or might get to the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised. There are a lot of teams in the NFC I was flip-flopping on and can see making the playoffs instead of the teams I had make the playoffs. The NFC is very hard this year to choose. AFC-wise, I feel like there's only really 2 teams that are close to making the playoffs, or that I'm not really 100% sure what kind of team they are. Other than that, I feel like the teams are kind of set on which ones are good or bad. AFC is definitely the weaker division. If you like what you saw, please comment and subscribe to this channel. Like I said again, this isn't just a sports channel. This is a channel of whatever videos I feel like making at the time. Right now, I just love sports, and I'm a huge football fan, so I'm going to make my football fan predictions. And I'll also comment on to your comments and tell me why you think your team might make the playoffs or the Super Bowl, or why you love your team. I would like to know. What are your favorite teams? Mine's the Denver Broncos. I've just been watching them since I was a little kid. And I'll make sure to comment on why I think your team won't or will make the playoffs also. Again, thank you for watching. Please comment and subscribe, and have a good rest of the day.